In today's video, we are going to share which is better, a VPS, which is a virtual private server, or a dedicated server. If you don't know the difference between these two and how they should be used, we're going to cover it all in today's video. We're going to share what each of the hosting plans are, why you might want to use them, and which is ultimately going to be better for your situation. So stick around to the end of the video because you're not going to want to miss any of the information we have for you today. Let's start with what VPS means. VPS stands for virtual private server. It's a type of hosting where a physical server is divided into a bunch of different virtual servers. They each act like an independent server. Imagine servers as physical computers. We have shared servers, private servers, and dedicated servers. Shared servers are the cheapest option and the lowest tier, and they're like renting a room in an apartment. Resources such as CPU, RAM, and storage are all shared by the tenants in the apartment. This is ideal for beginners with small websites or low traffic. Some of the pros of a shared server are that they're easy to manage and very cost effective, but the cons are that there are lower resources and there's a potential for slower speeds during peak times. Now, VPS servers, on the other hand, we can think about as renting a room in an apartment, but with your exclusive resources. Although you share the physical machine with others, you have dedicated portions of CPU, RAM, and other things reserved specifically for you. Some of the pros of a virtual private server over a shared server are that you have more control of your resources and you have better performance. Some of the cons are that they're more expensive than shared hosting, and you're still going to share some physical resources. Now, dedicated servers are like owning an entire house. You have the whole server to yourself, ensuring maximum performance, security, and customization. Some of the pros are that this is the highest level of control and the maximum performance. Some of the cons are that it's the most expensive plan and it requires more technological knowledge to manage. This is because there's so many capabilities, you might even have to hire a person in charge of just managing the server. Now let's go on to a performance comparison. Let's start with VPS. Because on VPS, you're sharing some of the resources with other users, this can lead to contention if users have higher demands. VPS is ideal for smaller websites or those expecting moderate traffic. This is why it's great for blogs, small business websites, and portfolios. An example that would do well with VPS is a blog receiving about 10,000 visits per month. Typically, this is going to perform just fine on a VPS. Now let's talk about dedicated server performance. All resources, like we said, are dedicated to a single user, ensuring consistent and high performance during traffic spikes. This is going to be ideal for high traffic websites like e-commerce brands and other applications requiring significant resources. So an example that would do well on a dedicated server is an e-commerce brand receiving over 100,000 visits per month. Because of the higher database queries, they're going to benefit more from a dedicated server. Now let's talk about the scalability between VPS and dedicated server. First, let's talk about VPS. On virtual private servers, you can easily upgrade CPU, RAM, and storage as your website grows without significant downtime. An example of this is a blog or small business that's growing and that's going to benefit from the flexibility of a VPS. As you need more resources, you can just add them on as you wish. And the process to do this is really just a couple clicks inside of your hosting control panel. Now let's talk about the scalability of dedicated servers. These are more intense and they're going to require physical hardware upgrades. This will make it more complicated and the process a bit more disruptive. An example where you might need this is, let's say, an e-commerce brand with predictable growth that will need to plan for periodic hardware upgrades. And the process can be a bit intense to do this. It could involve contacting your hosting provider, potentially migrating data, and ensuring minimal downtime during the upgrade. Let's talk about the cost comparison. VPS are going to be generally more affordable than dedicated servers. And the reason this is because you're only paying for the resources that you need. So for example, Hostinger has a VPS hosting plan that's under $5 per month. Now that's going to increase after the first year of hosting, but it's still really affordable when compared to some other options in the market. In terms of dedicated servers costs, they're obviously going to be higher due to the exclusive use of that server. And you can really expect to pay a premium for the control and functionality that you're getting out of a dedicated server. And dedicated servers can really range in pricing from under $100 a month to over $200 a month. With that said, we're going to show you how to set up a VPS server today with Hostinger. For most people watching this video, when you're just getting started out, a VPS server is going to be more beneficial to you than a dedicated server. You're not going to need all the functionality of a dedicated server just starting out. So we'll be sure to leave our special link to Hostinger down below in the description where you can get one of the best deals for a VPS server on the market. Go ahead and click on our special link down below and then we can join up here in the process together. And just know that if you do use our special link, we do get a small referral fee at no additional cost to you. This really helps us keep creating free videos and tutorials like this one, so thank you so much in advance for using that. Once you've clicked on that special link down below, you'll see the Hostinger landing page here where for $4.99 per month, you can get a hosting plan for a virtual private server. You'll notice here that there's also a 30-day money-back guarantee, so this is really at no risk to you to get started. Let's go ahead and click choose your plan and it'll scroll down here and show us some of the options that we have. In terms of virtual private servers, there's a couple different options here. There's the KVM1, which starts at $4.99 per month. Then there's the KVM2, 2, which starts at $6.99 per month. The KVM 4 is $10.49 per month, and the KVM 8 is $19.99 per month. Now, some of the differences between these plans: the KVM 1 plan really is just going to have 1 CPU core, 4 gigs of RAM, and 50 gigs of disk space, and 4 terabytes of bandwidth. Now, the other plans are going to have a lot higher options of functionality, but let's just start with this lower plan, and like we said earlier, you can always upgrade if you need it. So let's go ahead and choose this $4.99 plan and get started. Now that we've done that, we're here and we have to choose a period for our hosting. Now, the only one that we don't recommend that you choose is the 1 month plan. If you choose the 1 month plan, it's going to be expensive for that 1 month, but if you lock in for at least 12 months, you get a lot lower rate. Let's go ahead and go to the 12-month option, and you'll see that we're paying an additional 50 cents per month, but let's just try it out for a year, and you can either do that or the 24-month. Let's go ahead now and create our account if you don't have one already. Once you've scrolled down and done that, it's going to ask you to put in some information here about your name and address. Now, once you've done that, you can see that our discounted rate right now is $65.88 for a year of web hosting, and that's a total of 61% off with our special link. But do not forget to click have a coupon code here and put in our special code, which is my first website. Once you've done that and clicked apply, you'll see that that brings our final total for the year to under $60. This is why we really love Hostinger, because to have a virtual private server plan under $60 is a great deal. Go ahead and enter the name on your card here, and once you're finished, you can go ahead and click submit secure payment. Once you've done that, you will have purchased your virtual private server hosting for 1 year, and you can start building your website. Now let's talk about security and control for both the VPS and a dedicated server. In terms of security, a VPS operates in a shared environment, which may pose some security risks. However, it does offer a reasonable level of isolation and security, and it definitely does over a shared hosting plan. In terms of control, a VPS provides substantial control over your server environment, including the ability to install custom software and configure settings. Now, dedicated servers, on the other hand, offer the highest level of security since they're isolated from other users. In terms of control, like we talked about earlier, you have extensive control over everything on your server. This is going to allow for extensive customization, security configurations, and software installations. Now let's compare the two. A VPS is going to be ideal for users who need more control and better performance over shared hosting plans, but don't require the same extensive resources of a dedicated server. And dedicated servers are going to be best if you want to maximize security, performance, control, and you're willing to pay a premium for it. Lastly here, let's just summarize what we've talked about and talk about a couple pros and cons of a VPS and a dedicated server. In terms of pros for VPSs, they are cost-effective, scalable, and provide more resources and control than shared hosting plans. In terms of cons, because you're sharing some of these physical resources with other users, that can lead to decreased performance during high traffic times. Now, dedicated servers, on the other hand, are going to offer you high performance, full control, and maximum security. And the cons are that they are higher cost and more complex to manage. That's everything we have for you for VPS hosting versus dedicated hosting. For most people watching the video who are just getting started out, VPS is going to be the option for you. But if you have a website, let's say in the e-commerce space, that has over 100,000 visits per month, then you might want to look into a dedicated server. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more content like this in the future, please leave us a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. This channel is dedicated to providing you free videos and tutorials like this one to help you start and grow your first website. If you're looking to create your first website and you don't know where to get started, we actually created a free tool that we will also leave linked down below in the description with all the other resources that we talked about in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. We wish you the best on your website building journey, and we will see you in the next video.